Knowing this near universal pattern helps to assess new brands and existing ones.
What don't marketers know?
Quite a lot. Marketers largely live in an anything-goes world where the latest fashion or fad drives an awful lot of practice.
Segmentation is the recognition you can't serve everyone with equal satisfaction.
This is the Zac Anesbury Show.
Welcome. On today's podcast clip, we have Associate Professor Müller from Northwest University, South Africa. So you are still publishing, which is hard to do. Like, given I'm guessing you still have a teaching load yourself, but you then also have a lot of leadership and staff sort of management roles because you're looking after this discipline. How do you find time to attend conferences, to manage staff, to make sure that you're good at teaching yourself and help identify at risk? Like, you're doing so much. How do you manage to juggle all of this?
I've only been officially in the role since middle 2022, but then I was just acting. Then I still had a full teaching load. As of this year, I only guest lecture, and I do have postgraduate students, but I don't have a full teaching load, so I must say that helps. But to answer the question, I still don't have the answer yet. It's a juggling act, figuring it out. I must say, now that I know the ins and outs of the role, last year there was a lot of things I still need to learn, and that jeopardized my research output quite tremendously. This year I know what to expect, so I can better manage my time. And collaboration, I think that's the key. When it comes to research, I really enjoy the stats part. So I found people within my school which enjoys the literature part. Or I actually think they're just scared of the stats part, so that's why they opt for the lit and one right together. I think collaboration is the key. Find key people to work with.
Yeah, absolutely. People with complementary skills. Yeah. So if you're good with numbers and the stats, then finding the other side of it. I always find the big thing with journals a lot of the time is that narrative. So why should we care about this research? That tends to be your numbers can all be fine and the literature really well, but often the feedback is, why does anyone care? So who's good at that? And so I deliberately, especially earlier on in my career when I could not tell you who would care, I definitely tried to team up with other co-authors who were much better at finding a story, I guess. I completely agree with you there. So you do still teach, but you said you do guest lectures mostly, which is pretty fun. I kind of liken that to being the fun uncle. Like, so you don't have to be the parent, you don't have to change the nappies, you don't have to worry about feeding them or staying up and making sure they sleep. And you get to come in there, you get to play with them, throw them around, be that cool uncle, and then you get to leave. So I love a good.
I love that analogy.
Oh, good.
and from the get-go, I told myself I don't want to lose touch with the teaching. Because to be brutally honest, when I landed the role, I had impostor syndrome like you won't believe. We sit in these big meetings and there's people around me who's talking about retirement. They've been in management for 20 plus years. And over a beer one night with a friend of mine, he highlighted, okay, but remember, who's closer to the core business? Who has actually lectured? You don't need to feel out. You've got a unique voice that you can raise within those meetings. And that made all the difference. And that's also where I decided I have to still be involved with some guest lectures.
Oh, I wish a lot of people would continue having that, because sometimes you can speak to people who, they progress up the, I guess the management route of universities, and they make decisions. And quite often you look at each other and you're like, someone who teaches wouldn't make this decision. And then you realize that they haven't done it for 5, 10, 15 years, and they don't understand the production line aspect of it or the day-to-day ins and outs of the job. So I think it's quite refreshing to hear that you still want your toe dipped in the water so you can make more informed decisions, I suppose.
No, definitely. And the student population continuously change. I must say this year, I only managed to guest lecture once, and I feel a bit out of touch with the new student group we've got. I don't know if you've experienced a big change in student dynamics after COVID. Less interactive, more entitled. Class attendance is horrific. It's a challenge. We moved away from that. During COVID, we did record online, but now you have to attend. But some of them just show up for assessments. How's your class attendance?
Are they moved towards technology? So everyone's on their computers or iPads or something like that? Tablets?
No, not really.
No? Ah.
It's a weird group of students. I must say the first years is okay, and the second years, but our third years this year, we talk about our COVID babies.
Yeah, they definitely had a different, even high school experience to what everyone did. So you have, you're obviously doing a lot. Do you supervise by any chance? Do you do supervisions of masters, PhD students, anything like that?
Yes, currently I've got 2 PhD students.
Yeah.
I used to supervise a lot prior to my previous promotion. At one point, I think I had 4 students submitting during the same month, and I told myself I'll never do that again.
That sounds horrible.
Currently, I'm very selective as to who I supervise, and it has to be within my field of expertise.
But it's a lot goes into theses. I don't know how you manage to supervise 4 and get them to submit in a month. That's
I never want that time over again.
Yeah, I don't know how you kept your thoughts straight, because you'd be your whole brain would be in one thesis and then you'd have to change to another.
And I thought I had good time management, because the plan was 2 to submit, I think it was 2018 and 2 2019. And then stuff happened in the 2 students' lives and they had to push to the next year.
It is, it's a very, I think your approach of, where you tried to balance them out and things are unpredictable, but yeah, it is still fun to supervise, and teaching big courses is really fun. But then teaching student research skills and you get to know them as humans by the end of it. Even more so, right? You get to know their families, their partners, what they want from life. It's a different relationship with
it is a whole different relationship.
Yeah, and I think it's.
And I enjoy the PhD supervision the most. During the masters, that learning curve, that first 6 months, it's horrible, and to send back those rare documents, lots of comments.
Yeah.
But when they move to PhD, it's sort of plateaus. Now, I must say I've been very fortunate. After 6 masters that I supervised, 4 of them did their PhD with me, and the 5th one is currently busy with a PhD with me. So we're over that learning curve, so it's a bit easier.
Yeah, you kind of get the reward for all that effort up front then, don't you?
Definitely.
It's really funny because your brain tricks you sometimes, and I have to tell my brain that it's tricking me. So I'll be giving feedback I've got 2 master's students at the moment, and they're very new. One just passed their proposal, and the other one still writing their proposal together. And you pick up the same feedback from both of them, and your brain's telling you, I've just told you this, and you have to realize that it was the other one, or that's something that you've told 3, 4, 5 other students before, and you have to keep reminding yourself that this is a new person, you haven't told them this before. But all your brain sees is why am I seeing the same error again? Why does it keep popping up? I don't know, that might just be me.
No, definitely.
Hi everyone, Zac here again, and just a few quick reminders before you go. If you're listening to the podcast and are considering incorporating it into your secondary school or university courses, then please let me know and I can guide you through the process. If you're enjoying the show and getting some insights from it, then please leave me a 5-star review on your podcast listening platform. It would go a long way to spreading the word. If you know someone who would benefit from this content, then I would be thrilled if you could consider sharing this episode and its knowledge with them. And finally, thank you for becoming part of the community for this show.